Hey kids, Tito James here, once again taking awesome out of the box. When it comes to gaming phones, there are only a couple of brands that come to mind. To name a few, of course, there's the Asus ROG Phone 3 that we've already featured on this channel, and Black Shark, which we really hadn't had the chance to review yet. But a few months ago, Lenovo announced its Legion Phone Duel, a device that looks to equip you with all the best hardware available and UI optimization so you can throw down in the arena of your choosing, and that's exactly the device we're talking about in this video. Before we get into it, let me just mention that we don't have the price for the Legion Phone Duel as of recording this video. It's going to be announced on October 24 during ESGS here in the Philippines. It's out of our hands, guys, but hopefully it is priced nicely against the competition. Alright, so let's take a closer look at the phone itself, and as you can see right here, it's anything but subtle. You've got a lot of metallic and holographic touches all over its glass back, a Legion logo that lights up because, as we all know, nothing says gamer than a bit of RGB, and the words stylish outside and savage inside on either side of the phone. These areas also have a different texture to them to give you a bit more grip when you're playing games, and I know that design can be very subjective, and while I do prefer something a bit more low-key, I know that some of you may like the aggressive styling of the Duel. By the way, if you want to customize the color of that Legion logo, it's in the display settings, which I found kind of weird, but I thought I'd mention it in this video because I did have a hard time finding it, so there you go. Lenovo was very intentional about the design of the Duel. As you might have noticed, all of the elements are oriented for you to use the phone horizontally. I do find the placement of the rear cameras odd, but understand the reasoning behind it since placing it on the usual spots will interfere with the symmetry of the device. Now, it still kinda does, but since your eyes are already drawn to the center with the lights and other visuals, it is less of a distraction, if that makes any sense. You also have the cutout for the rather large pop-up selfie camera module with the Legion branding, which we will discuss in a bit. It has some interesting features, but you also have the power button on top of that as well. And while we're here, let's give you a tour of the button and port layout. Now, just like their main rival, the Phone Duel has touch-sensitive zones on the frame that acts as virtual side buttons, so if you're mostly into shooters, you can map out your ADS and trigger buttons to give you a bit of an advantage, and these flank the power button. You have a USB Type-C port and access the SIM tray on the bottom of the phone, and on the left you have the volume rocker and yet another USB-C port. No doubt, one of the biggest draws of having a gaming phone is the high refresh rate of their screens. The Duel is equipped with a 6.65-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display, and it's at 144Hz, giving you a touch sampling rate of 240. So games definitely look amazing on this, especially for something like Genshin Impact that has really impressive visuals. It has vibrant colors and deep blacks that we all know panels of this type are capable of. This is also equipped with some really good front-firing speakers. If you want to know what they sound like, here's a quick clip. Now, headphone users, you might want to tone down the volume just a bit, just in case. You've been warned. Now, under the hood of the Legion Phone Duel is the best hardware available in smartphones right now. You have a Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 Plus, a huge serving of RAM at up to 16GB, and up to 512GB of storage. To be a bit more clear on that, according to the info that we have, the Vengeance Red color variant they'll be offering in the Philippines will have 12GB of RAM and 256GB of storage, while their Hero color in Blazing Blue will be the one that's maxed out. But anyway, as you can imagine, this phone does exactly what it's built to do: play games at the highest settings as smoothly as possible. Using Gamebench, the team and I tested out some of the most popular games out right now, and as you can see by the metrics on screen, the Duel doesn't disappoint, and this is the smoothest I've seen Genshin Impact run on the highest settings so far. If you're looking to get into Wild Rift, there aren't any issues as well, but I wasn't able to get the metrics on it, but as far as I could tell, I was coasting at 60 FPS the whole time, and that's at the ultra high definition preset. Now, heat isn't going to be an issue for the Phone Duel as well. Lenovo has found a way to liquid cool their copper heat pipes, and it seems to be doing the trick. I haven't really experienced the phone getting too warm when playing games for a prolonged period of time. Now this is also partly because of the placement of the batteries on the Duel. Yes, you heard me right, there are two 2500 mAh batteries on either side of this phone, and this is another area where you see the intentionality of Lenovo's design. They tell us it's because they want to keep heat away from the system's logic board, which is located at the center of the phone, which makes sense, and as far as I could tell, it works. As far as battery life though, we ran 2 drain tests, and with the display at 90Hz, it clocked in at 13 hours and 25 minutes, and at 144Hz, there's a 2-hour difference at 11 hours and 13 minutes. That's with brightness and volume at 50% while streaming a YouTube video. Now to top up this phone, Lenovo has it advertised to support up to 90 watts fast charging, which is really crazy, but for us here in the Philippines, the bundled charger that comes inside the box only goes up to 65 watts, and if that's still too crazy for you, you can dial it down to 33 watts by only using one of the USB ports that are on this phone. In terms of software, Lenovo also did a ton of custom work on their ZUI based on Android 10 so that you could use this phone more in landscape orientation. There's also the Legion Realm Control Center to help you optimize games and put the phone on rampage mode that will overclock the CPU and GPU. And they've also included a few streaming features that will help you take advantage of the pop-up front camera, giving you a green screen effect without the hassle of setting it up. It's not 100% accurate, and you will see spots where you're oddly cut out, but it ain't half bad all things considered. You can even add some stickers if you want to. Which brings us to the last bit of the review, the cameras. And unfortunately for gaming phones, that really isn't the focus. It's a bit of a weakness, and that's also the case for the Phone Duel. The front camera you've been seeing is at 20 megapixels, and it does churn out decent selfies with enough light, but because it's oddly placed, you are kind of forced to take selfies in landscape orientation, so there's a bit of an adjustment period if you prefer taking them vertically. The shooters on the back are at 64 megapixels for the main and 16 megapixels for the ultra-wide, and it's pretty much the same story. The images are pretty good when you've got enough light, but the details tend to fall off as soon as the sun goes down. Now, I'm not saying that the photos look horrible by any stretch, but if getting really crisp shots with your mobile device is one of your non-negotiables, the Duel and gaming phones in general might not be for you. Alright, so let's try to wrap this up by answering the question, should you buy the Lenovo Legion Phone Duel? And honestly, it's a hard question to answer because we don't know the price just yet. But if you're looking for a gaming smartphone with some of the best hardware available right now and a few extra features on the side to really sweeten the pot, this is something to put on your shortlist. It has all the muscle you need to run the most demanding titles on the Google Play Store right now, and if you want to create gaming content straight from your smartphone without the hassle of hooking it up to a computer and going through different software, it's definitely worth your consideration. It really all depends on the price that Lenovo slaps on the Legion Phone Duel. If they manage to pull a rabbit out of the hat and price this really aggressively, other brands have to watch out. And with that, thank you so much for dropping by and spending a few minutes with me. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up, sub to the channel, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any of our content. If you have any questions, leave them down below and I'll try my best to get to them as soon as I can. For all the latest tech news and gadget reviews, head to unbox.ph, plus follow us on Facebook and on Instagram. My name is Tito James. Peace, God bless. See you guys next time, and of course, stay safe.